Good morning. Today's Tanya teaches us something very, very interesting. There's a concept in Kabbalah that the words that we say will remain in this earth. There are different universes, different dimensions, and depending on the holiness of what it is that we say, that is where those words soar aloft to. Now, generally speaking, there are four universes. There's what's called Asiya, the universe that we're in, only physical universe. Then there are four spiritual. Now, all universes are a time, space, soul dimension. So there is a structure to it. It's just not so physical. Now, think about a video game. There's a time, space, and player dimension to it. Now, if you just chat or are involved in physical things, it remains in this universe. But if you say prayer, depending, as we'll explain soon, on the level of intention and love for God that you have, the words you say elevate. Now, there are four types of realities. The first is you're saying this prayer with emotion. Now, a Jew by nature has a love and a reverence for Hashem. So you can use your natural love and reverence, and that emotion or the emotional feeling will take your prayer to the world of Yetzirah. Actually, angels that kiss the word and they polish it. It's like a beautiful diamond presented to God. And then there are actually intentions which are much deeper. These are intentions based on what we're meant to have before davening. We're meant to think about the greatness of God and to create an intellectual awareness, appreciation, and desire for God. And if you do that, then it goes to the world of Bria. Bria is more the intellectual, spiritual world. And obviously, we're not just talking about silly intellectualism like in a university just prattling along about this discovery, that discovery, talking about something that's meaningful, godly, holy. And therefore, it elevates. And now, when it comes to Torah study is a little bit different. And the reason is because in Torah study, a person can just study the Torah. And the very fact that you're studying the Torah, you're obviously using your mind. When you study it, it elevates. However, there is a caveat to this, which is that if a person's intention in the Torah study is basically, as a certain Jewish cult, if you can call it that, or a definitely misinformed, misguided section of the Jewish world, that they teach their students to study to become a gadol, to become great. Now that's ego. That's an exact opposite of what the Torah is meant to do, because the Torah is meant to make us humble. In fact, it says that God says that if somebody studies the Torah, it makes him arrogant. I cannot be with him. Ein ani v'hu yachol loder. So the Baal Shem Tov once came into a study hall of Torah, and in fact, the whole place, he says, I can't walk in, the place is filled with Torah. Now, normally you think that's great, it's filled with Torah. But actually, it was not a compliment, it was a criticism, because if the Torah was holy, it was pure, it led them to humility and greatness and goodness, would have elevated to God. But if the whole Torah is just about me, it's another ego thing. So what's the difference if I'm painting a sculpture of myself? It's the same concept. So that holds the Torah down. Now, if a person does tshuva, if the person repents, and then that Torah can be uplifted. And furthermore, if a person prays, now imagine you said, I don't know, a whole year you weren't thinking about your prayer, so they didn't elevate you, didn't have any emotional desire or attraction to God. That's why before prayer it's so important to study Chassidus, to do something that lifts you up, makes you want to love God, and therefore when you go into prayer, you're going to go in the right way. But if you didn't do that, you were just had a habit, you're praying. So those words, they kind of get in a realm of this world, but they can easily be elevated. So if you say once Ashrei with intention, then that Ashrei can lift up. In fact, the Alter Rebbe doesn't say this in the Tanya of today, but very interesting, the Baal Shem Tov speaks about, I think, all the prayers that are not for, with intention, they're put aside. It's like a sacrifice that wasn't done with proper intention. And then before, I think Rosh Hashanah, Adam sniffs it. And those that are not elevated, or those that we didn't do with intention or tshuva, get shunned aside. It's like you never prayed. It was like worthless. But those that you do, those get elevated to God. And this is a very profound idea, which is that every word we say, if it's done with intention for Hashem, and everything we do doesn't remain in this world and eventually gets lost, but it goes up to Hashem and becomes a permanent part of the infinite Mashiach.